So we have a foundation of naturopathic medicine here in Chicago, Illinois,
Mm-hmm.
since 1908 by our
Mm-hmm.
founder, Dr. Oakley Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And to have such history in the city of Chicago, state of Illinois, for so long,
Mm-hmm.
why do you think it wasn't as promoted as
Mm-hmm.
much? You know, most people don't know napropath, naprapathy, connective tissue specialists, all of the
Mm-hmm.
things that we're hoping to achieve and get the
Mm-hmm.
world to fall in love with
Mm-hmm.
now. In your opinion, why do you think that there are any barriers or anything that prevented in your research of the extensive research that you've done of Dr. Oakley Smith and your
Well,
time?
I would say there were a number of attempts, especially if this were the 1930s. Um, in precisely 1936, there were a number of schools. There were schools in Wisconsin, there were schools in Florida, um, there were schools in Ohio. So there were a number of schools, um, and but unfortunately, those schools did not last. Even in 1936, there was a school in Sydney, Australia. Unfortunately, these schools didn't last. Um, However, in the 70s, the early 1970s, you had a graduate of the National College of Naprapathy who came from Sweden, graduated, went back to Sweden, and he established naprapathic medicine in Sweden to great success. In fact, in Sweden, the number two field of medicine is naprapathy, naprapathic medicine. So here in America, in just to understand the context, the number one field of medicine, of course, is allopathic medicine, followed by osteopathic medicine. In Sweden, allopathic medicine, meaning MD medicine, number two is naprapathic medicine. And this is true to an extent of all of Scandinavia, to include Norway and Finland. And as I speak, there's a very, very successful naprapathic medical school in Stockholm. Also in Kotka, Finland. And by the way, the school in Kotka, Finland is part of the national university system. And there were plans for a school in Oslo, Norway. So naprapathic medicine has become very, very well known, very well established in Scandinavia, especially Sweden, and to the point where the national government of Sweden does track naprapathy very, very well in terms of how many treatments are conducted every year. So it's interesting how it just exploded so successfully in Scandinavia. So here, back in the United States, where it all began, we've had to go through our trials, and we've had a number of schools, though, even in the Chicagoland area. There's been a number of schools. So, as I said, in Chicago, the first school was the Oakley Smith School of Naprapathy, which became the Chicago College of Naprapathy in 1949, a competing school, the National College of Naprapathy, and it was a direct competitor. The issue was not the underlying theories of naprapathy. The issue was what courses should be taught in the school. And so those two schools existed. There was the Chicago College of Naprapathy. At that time, 1949, Dr. Oakley Smith was still president. There was the new National College of Naprapathy, and those two schools existed up until 1971, when those two schools merged, and they became the Chicago National College of Naprapathy, which had a name change in 2004 and is its current name, the National College of Naprapathic Medicine. So, In fact, back in 1922, around that time, from 1922 to 1925, there was another College of Naprapathy in Chicago, which was called the American College of Naprapathy. So it only lasted 3 years.
Do you know why it only lasted 3 years by any chance, or?
It was purchased actually by the National College of Chiropractic,
Oh.
which at the time was in Chicago, moved to Lombard, and now called National University of Health Sciences, at a major chiropractic college in Illinois and I would say the United States.
Wow.
But they basically purchased the college in 1925.
But not necessarily to continue on in naprapathic sciences, but more for the chiropractic.
I think they purchased it, and their intent, I'm not sure what their intent was.